See if I have one more picture in here real quick. Just oh, it's already on there. Let me just make this size a little bit bigger here. I got the graphic in there with our YouTube channels and stuff on there this time.
Sweet.
And I got the Google Voice one open, a channel in there. But I have to repost that link though. But I could do that while we're talking. That's not a big deal.
Well, they can hear us, by the way.
All right, welcome on in, guys. Sorry about that little confusion. We got a timer on this thing now, and every time you switch scenes, it starts the timer over. So, but we're here. We're going to discuss the news that came out of Tuscaloosa today, the hiring of Kalen DeBoer. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. If I'm not, forgive me. Of course, we got Steven here with us as always. Steven, say what's up to everybody, bud.
What's up? What's going on? Yeah, it's been a day for sure. Did not realize that.
Go ahead.
Did not expect us to have news this fast about what head coach Bama is going to have. So
yeah, see, I did, but I didn't. Like I heard that they were shooting for a 72-hour time frame, but it's crazy that it happened. After the news of Dan Lanning turning down the job yesterday, it kind of made you wonder a little bit, dude. But I was eating with the kids and Haley today for lunch, and you called me. You sounded super excited. You had some excitement in your voice, and you're like, "Hey, man, did you hear the news?" I was like, "No, what's up?" And that's when he told me. And sure enough, about 15, 20 minutes later, the news started breaking on ESPN and seeing CBS and all these other channels. So, kind of give me a rundown of. And I'm sure you probably can't really reveal your sources too much, but give me an idea of how you kind of found stuff out and how you're feeling about the news.
Well, the way I found out about the news is, I kind of got hints and stuff about what's going on. Just kind of like, this is a possibility. This is a big possibility. It looks like this is going to happen this time. This is not who's going to be it for sure. So it's not really, it wasn't really given to me ahead of time.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like right as it was breaking. And it just happened that 30 minutes later, all the outlets started saying it. So I'm getting it about the same time as everybody else is, but it's just I react to it a lot quicker because it's directly to me. So that's just all it is.
I got you. Okay, cool. So it wasn't like you had an inside source, but you were kind of getting the information a little bit sooner than most of us were hearing. So okay,
right,
that's cool. That's fair. That's fair. So how do you feel about the hire? Are you excited about it? Are you worried?
I mean,
there's always mixed emotions from people.
There's always going to be that little bit of worry because it's someone coming in behind Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be a tough one to come in behind. So,
oh, absolutely.
There is still worry there because, like I said last night, we're probably going to lose a lot of recruits.
Yep.
But at the same time, I hear he's a really good recruiter. I mean, look what he did with Michael Penix. So I think he can actually work with Jalen Milroe and help him out in ways that he needs. Sorry about that. My TV's doing loaded screen, so it got a little
Nah,
bright.
you were good. You were good.
But no, I think it's a good hire in the long run after sitting down and thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was kind of skeptical. I'm like, you got a Pac-12 guy. It doesn't seem to go well when Pac-12 guys come in like that into a new program, and especially one at the caliber of Alabama. That's going to be a big shoes to fill. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm definitely interested to see what's going to happen.
I am too. I heard you mention something about him recruiting. I read earlier that he is actually like 38th or 39th in recruiting currently for Washington, but that's Washington. It's not, things are probably going to be different for Alabama. At least we hope so, right? But
Right.
I just hope that this isn't going to be like a Brian Harsin 2.0 coming in from the West Coast thinking that everything's going to be okay. And then it's not. So,
yeah.
You guys, hang on just a second. My video on my side is frozen. Let me make sure everything's okay on that end. So it's still showing live stream on Facebook.
On my Facebook, it's showing us actually on my end as like watching. So yeah, you're good there. Your screen's like you said, your camera's just froze.
Yeah. Let me reload the camera, guys. Hang on just a second. Sorry about that. I don't know what in the world is going on with this thing tonight. It doesn't like me, apparently. Camera failed to load. Please make sure it's not already in use by another application. It's not in use by another application.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
There it is.
All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, for some reason, my camera just quit. That was weird. But y'all can still hear me talking, though. So, yeah, there is some ghostesses in this house. So, changing the subject real quick, Stephen. I was sitting here helping the kids do their homework last night, and we had a trash bag sitting by the counter I was about to go take out. Well, the trash bag fell, but before it fell, it slid like a foot or two on the ground and then fell over. I was like, "Who just pulled the trash can?" But there's nobody in here, so it kind of freaked me out a little bit, dude. I ain't gonna lie to you.
That's funny.
So let's get into this, man. Haley and Debbie, I know, are not thrilled about this hire because I think it's just maybe the fact that the lack of proof that he has, or not the lack of proof. What's the word I'm looking for? That he hasn't proven himself yet. But I mean, he did great things with Michael.
The lack of experience.
Lack of experience. That's a good word. Lack of experience. He's not familiar with the SEC, but that's when you have to surround yourself with coaches who are familiar with the SEC. I mean,
Yes.
having great assistants is going to be the key to his success. I mean, it really, really is.
And having Nick Saban in your ear, because that's going to happen.
Oh, Saban's going to be in his ear every single time, for sure. Let me try to get my chair moving. What the heck? I'm having all kind of difficulties tonight, man. All right, there we go. But yeah, Saban's going to be. Hey, shut up, man. No, Saban's going to be in his ear every single night or every single day, and making sure he's doing things right, making sure he's living up to the expectations that people are going to have. But the problem with that is, I really don't think he's going to be able to, because it's Nick Saban. But now he can try to do the best he can. But I mean, it's like we talked last night. Nobody's going to fill Saban's shoes. I don't think there's anybody out there, maybe other than Kirby Smart, who could actually fill the role of Nick Saban.
Well, even Kirby Smart, that'd be a little bit of a stretch too, because Saban didn't tell him everything.
Yeah.
For the simple fact that he knew Kirby was going to go somewhere else and do things, so he didn't give all his secrets.
Oh no, of course not. Of course not. And he's not going to give. Well, I mean, of course he can now because he's not coaching anymore. But he didn't give all his secrets to Lane Kiffin. So speaking of Lane Kiffin, let me ask you this: have you heard that Lane Kiffin was a candidate and Nick Saban told them no, that he does not want Kiffin as a coach? Did you hear that?
No, I did not hear that.
So Haley and her mom were talking about it earlier, and she said that Lane Kiffin's name was brought up, and Saban said, no, we're not getting Kiffin, because apparently he's still upset with him, with Kiffin, for something that he did when he was at Alabama. I don't know what it was. And I don't know how true that is. It could just be rumors too. I think somebody said they heard it on Paul Feinbaum today. So that's why I want to bring it
again.
up.
That could definitely be rumers because you know how those
Yes, of
people
course.
talk on there. So
Oh man, people run their mouth on Feinbaum all the time, which is funny. I'm not gonna lie to you, it is funny.
some of it's
That's
good, some of it's good.
man. I mean, I listen to it mainly because of the drama.
Yeah,
I really do, especially when two people like they're going back and forth. It's hilarious to me.
right.
Does Michael Penix have another year of eligibility, or has he already declared for the draft?
I think he declared for the draft.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you're not going to have to worry about him trying to transfer somewhere and all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
It looks like Washington's got a long road ahead of them.
Yeah, they do. I don't know who their potential hires are going to be. I mean, they've got some time. I don't think they're in as much of a rush as Alabama was, just because of where Alabama is as far as recruiting. They just came off of a semifinal playoff game. You know, their expectations are a little bit higher than Washington's are. Even though Washington came off of a national championship game,
I'm about to say they just came off a national championship game.
they did, but I mean the Pac-12 is going away, so they're going to what, the Big Ten?
Big Ten, yeah.
So I don't know, man. I just feel like that he's going to have a lot of eyes on him for sure. Both Alabama fans and Nick Saban.
Yes. Yeah, he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders for sure.
Absolutely, he does. He does. Do you have any reservations about him being hired? I mean, I didn't make any notes of the show, so we're just kind of winging this one. But do you have any reservations about his hire, other than, I mean, it's not Nick Saban?
He is good enough to take a team to a national championship, especially with it being a team from the Pac-12.
Right.
So, I mean, he's doing something right. My biggest takeaways from what he has done, you know, he seems to be pretty good with the quarterbacks. So I think that'll be a lot of good for us. I think he's more offensive minded, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. He is.
So that's gonna make offense improve a lot. Might be a little worried about the defense and who they're going to bring in for coordinators and stuff. I don't know if he's going to do an overhaul or if he's going to pretty much keep it how Saban had it or what. I don't know if he's going to try to bring in his own guys.
I would think he would, but and again, I mean, Saban's going to be there in his ear for sure. But in the same sense, he needs to try to establish his own legacy there.
Right. But, yes, he needs to establish his own legacy, but at the same time, he still needs to continue doing what Bama has done for the simple fact that, they kind of got that momentum still going from what Saban had. So he's got a lot of work to do. For sure.
Well, Saban has definitely left them in a much better spot than Brian Harsin left Auburn when Hugh Freeze took over.
Right.
That's why, we were talking a while back during the regular season. I said, give Hugh Freeze two full recruiting cycles, and then we'll see what he's made of. But Saban, he was never going to leave that program in bad shape.
Right.
Now, whether or not DeBoer can continue that trend of being a top 5 recruiting class every year, that's yet to be seen. We don't know. We haven't seen what he's going to do. Now, he'll be able to close out this recruiting class and do fairly well with it. But I'm curious to see how he's going to start doing next year with his own recruiting class.
Right.
That's the big thing. Nick said Cliff Kingsbury is rumored to be the head coach at Washington. He's a quarterback's coach at – not a bad choice at all. I think he's a quarterback's coach at USC.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said Saban will essentially keep the boosters calm and show DeBoer. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it DeBoer?
I think it's DeBoer. Yeah, it's Kalen DeBoer.
Okay.
That's what I've been hearing everywhere, so I think it's DeBoer.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, he says he's going to keep the boosters in line basically and show DeBoer the ropes. So How in the world? Let me ask you this, and I'm not being serious at all. But how are y'all going to hire a coach with a girl's name?
You're gonna have to ask Greg Burns that one.
Haley thinks he's cute.
He is.
Here.
So do most women, apparently.
Yeah, a lot of women. That's why they hired him, because he's eye candy. He probably ain't gonna be worth a damn on the field, but he's eye candy.
Calm them women down a little bit with the transition. So.
Yeah. No, look, man, my concern for him is kind of similar to what you're saying. Is he doesn't know the SEC. Recruiting in the South is a lot different than it is out west. I remember when Brian Harsin got hired at Auburn, he had this mindset of, oh, well, the players will just come to me that want to play for me. No, it doesn't work that way. Players are going to go to Alabama and Georgia, and you've got to go to those players and steal them away from them schools.
Right.
That's the way it's going to work. Now, are players going to migrate to Alabama as quickly? Probably not, because Saban's not there. I mean, he is there, but he's not the decision maker of the football team.
Right. He's got an office in the stadium.
Yeah, he's got an office, but he's not. I mean, he's still going to have his input and whatnot as far as recruiting goes. But ultimately, man, I don't know if this guy's going to have full autonomy, or if they're going to kind of give, like, if he's going to have restrictions. I haven't heard anything about that.
I haven't either.
Have you heard the nature of his contract? What his yearly amount is?
Honestly, I haven't looked into it that much. I've just been trying to process the fact that they've already hired somebody and all that, and I haven't really looked into it.
Yeah, I know that he was like 4.1 or 4.2 million at Washington.
I was gonna do some of that research later tonight, and then tomorrow and stuff, once the whole shock of it all settled down a little bit, and get more detailed information on it. But it's got to be a pretty hefty one, if I had to guess.
Yeah, because Saban had the highest contract in the SEC, because every time somebody got a pay raise, it was in his contract. He had to be the highest paying coach. And I think he ended, it was like, what, 12 million a year, 13 million a year, something like that?
Something like that.
It was pretty high. I mean, the dude's not hurting for money by any means.
No.
I'll tell you what I'd like to see him do. I would like to see him do, not College Game Day, but maybe on the SEC network and stuff, when they have those the studio updates and stuff like that. You know, when they at the end of the day they go over to different games. I'd like to see Nick Saban do something like that,
like the halftime show and stuff.
Yeah, like a halftime show, and then in between games when they do the previews and the post game reports and stuff like that. I would like to see him do something like that. I think he'd be good at that. I mean, he knows the game.
Yeah, but if they're going to do something with Saban, they'll most likely do like a game day or something. He'll probably end up taking Corso's spot. Yeah,
because Corso is getting ready to retire. I could see Saban do it, but I don't see Saban donning headgear.
Oh, no, for sure he will not be doing that.
You'd be like, man, I ain't putting that thing on my head. Get away from me. He'll probably make the cameraman run stadiums.
Right? That's more of a Pat McAfee thing.
Yeah. What? No, it didn't. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, Haley was distracting me. I haven't heard anything else as far as players leaving or recruits decommitting. Have you heard anything today?
I heard about Isaiah Bond. I don't know if that was today or if that was earlier, but I heard Isaiah Bond's leaving. So there's that one. There really hasn't been much talk about players leaving as of right now. I think they're still trying to decide what they want to do, and I get that. I feel like that's a big decision, and they don't need to they don't need to rush it and be like, oh, Saban's going, so we're leaving, going somewhere else. I think they'll try to stick it out and see what's going to happen with DeBoer and all that good stuff before they make a true decision on whether they want to transfer or not, which would be the smart move on their part. Yeah,
I think there's a 30-day clause that goes in effect when a coach leaves or gets fired or retires or something. So basically Alabama's players have 30 days to enter the portal, and after that it's locked. They can't do it anymore. So I'm sure they're going to lose some guys. I mean, that's with the nature of any coaching change, and we talked about that a little bit last night. But guys out there, those of you that watched, I want to hear your opinions about this. Are you excited about the hire? Are you disappointed? Do you think they could have done better? I'm fixing to post a number for our live, not our live feed, for our phone number if you want to call in and talk to us about it, or you can type it in the chat. It's whatever you prefer. But I do want to get y'all's opinions on this because this is it's monumental, man. I mean, like we said, talked last night. We knew it was coming. We just didn't know it was going to be this soon. And now it's the start of a new dynasty era.
Yeah, start of a new era.
At Alabama. Yeah, in Alabama. So, and it's going to be one of those things that's yet to be seen. Did any other player, not any players, any other coaches, not audition, but interview for the job, or was it just those two before they made their decision?
I think there was quite a few that interviewed. I know Dan Lanning had. I think I heard where Dan Lanning had actually talked to Alabama just to see, but at the same time, I don't know if that was just to get more money out of Oregon, or something like that. But and then like we had talked about earlier, he has that NIL with Phil Knight, so it's or that deal himself with Phil Knight, so it would have been stupid for him to leave that situation. Honestly, in my opinion. So I think there was a few that were mentioned, but it wasn't as extensive as everybody thinks it should have been.
Yeah, it really wasn't a long search. And I'm like you, I was a little shocked that it took them as quick as it did. But in the same sense, and I understand the urgency behind it because signing day is approaching. And you want to make sure you lock in those players that didn't sign back in December. Try to keep the ones who are talking about decommitting. I don't know if Ryan Williams would have stayed had he known who the head coach would have been.
Right.
And he may end up recommitting. I don't know. I kind of hope he stays decommitted and comes to Auburn, but that's just my personal opinion.
Of course.
Personal choice, of course. I mean, I do think that this is going to make the SEC a little more competitive other than Georgia, but even Georgia looked very beatable all year.
Oh, for sure. There was a couple of games that they should have lost. So
yeah,
I mean, it's not. I mean, I get the fact that they won 20-something games in a row.
Yeah,
but at the same time, they were still beatable.
Oh, absolutely, they were beatable.
Hell, Auburn almost beat them.
I know, and Missouri almost
should have beat them.
I agree, and Missouri almost beat them. And Missouri was a really good football team.
Right.
A very good football team.
So the only thing that really saved Georgia was Brock Bowers.
100% agreed. 100% agree with that. I'm going to pull up Alabama's schedule for next year, and we're going to take a look at it. We're going to kind of dive into this a little bit. I mean, it's way too early to make any kind of predictions about anything, but I do want to kind of get a rundown of this, of how things are going to go, especially with a new SEC schedule. So let me share this to the screen, and we can look at this and kind of talk about it. Give me just a second. And you can keep touching on the topic if you want to, man. I'm just trying to get this going.
Yeah. But it's an interesting, it's interesting, in all honesty, with the fact of everything that's going to be going on. Georgia, I think they're losing a lot of players this year too. So like you said, it is going to make the playing field a lot more even with Saban out and DeBoer in.
Yes.
I feel like there's going to be more competitive games. You're going to have more. You're going to have a lot of worried Bama fans, because I can go ahead and tell you right now, I'm already expecting an 8-4 season.
See, I'm glad you mentioned that.
9-3.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting an undefeated season his first year in.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, because me and Haley were talking about that. That you can't expect anything big first year, and I said I wouldn't be surprised if he went 6-6. I mean, that's probably his floor. His floor is probably 6-6. His ceiling is probably going to be 8-4, maybe 9-3.
Yeah,
depending. But let's take a look at the schedule. I got it ready to pull up here. Let's see if you can see it. Let me move my browser up just a little bit so y'all can see that. Can y'all see that? No, you can't. Hang on.
You
I
gotta
don't care
close
about
out the
cookies.
cookies. You gotta close
Yeah,
those out.
it's already closed out. That's the crazy thing. I don't know. Let me try it again. Let me refresh it. Ah, that's weird.
Well,
I tried to,
all I know is his first away game is going to be against Wisconsin,
yeah, that's gonna be
and
interesting.
in his first year as an Alabama head coach, he gets to face Georgia. So
Oh, yeah, y'all play Georgia regular season this year, don't you?
yes,
Yeah, this ain't working like I quite wanted it to. They keep saying there's cookies open, but the other screen doesn't show that. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll keep talking, and if I get it figured out, we'll post them up there. So they start the season off with Western Kentucky,
yeah,
which is pretty interesting. I mean, it's you always want to start. I ain't gonna say interesting. You always want to start off your season with a cupcake
cupcake.
in a sense. But here recently, man, Western Kentucky hadn't been quite the cupcake that everybody thought they were.
Right.
But there's no reason why Alabama shouldn't beat them at all.
Yeah, I think you're froze again.
Am I?
I think so. Yeah.
Let me see.
But yeah, you know, starting off with the
Yes, I
cupcake,
am. Hang on.
obviously. Then you got a pretty decent schedule the rest of the way. Here, I'll pull it up myself.
I'm trying to get my camera up. For some reason, my camera keeps wanting to cut out tonight. I hate using my webcam because it's really bad quality.
All right, so our first three games seem to be cupcakes back to back to back. We got Western Kentucky at home because that was part of the home and home because you know we had we were in Tampa last year, so or this past season, and then you got Wisconsin at Wisconsin. Then you get Georgia at home. Then you go Vandy and Nashville. Then you go South Carolina at home. Then you're in Neyland Stadium at Tennessee. Then you're at home against Missouri, and then you're at Death Valley for LSU. Then you play Mercer. Then you go to Oklahoma and then turn around and come back home and play Auburn. That is a tough schedule for a first year head coach. That is a tough schedule for a first year head coach.
See it, and
It's probably for copyright reasons.
it could be. It very well could be. I mean, it's just a football schedule, though.
Okay. Is it? Are you sure?
So, what are your thoughts on this whole, like your personal thoughts on this whole hire yourself? What?
Man, so here's my opinion on it. As a non-Alabama fan, I didn't care who they hired as long as it wasn't Kirby Smart or Lane Kiffin. I think he's going to do okay at Alabama, but I don't know if he's going to do great. I think his first year, like I said a minute ago, his floor is probably 6-6. His ceiling is going to be 9-3, 10-2 maybe. But looking at their schedule, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see 6 to 7 potential games they could lose, or it could be a toss-up. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. But, when I was texting you earlier, I was joking saying, when I showed you the screenshot for the opening, and when I says Alabama hires Kalen, yeah, I said, should I maybe say Brian Harsin 2.0 as a joke? But it's what it kind of reminds me of. And I'm in a bunch of Auburn chat groups on Facebook, and they were saying the same thing. They said, we hated to see Saban go, but this feels like a Brian Harsin hire all over again.
Is the boosters are backing this one?
Yes.
They were not backing Brian Harsin at Auburn, but they are backing this one because they know Nick Saban is going to stick around. And like Nick said, Nick Saban is still going to be there to keep the boosters at bay and also teach the ropes of the road to DeBoer.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's the thing, man. Like, that's another thing that I'm kind of worried about is at Auburn, the boosters run that program, right? They completely run that program. Is it going to be, another situation in Alabama to where, even though Saban's going to be kind of not controlling everything, but he's going to have his hand in it for sure.
Yeah, he's going to have his hand in it. He's going to be the thorn in that side, trying to keep him on the right track. Right,
exactly. But, at Auburn, if they don't like a coach, they're gonna get rid of him. 100%. They're gonna get rid of him.
It's that lumber money.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I kind of hope that for their sake, because I know what it's like to not have full support from your boosters. And I also know what it's like to have boosters involved too much. I guess for conversation's sake, I hope it doesn't happen in Alabama, but I don't know, man. I'm still a little skeptical about it. I'm excited to see how the season's going to go for them, but I'm not sure if it's going to be the season that a lot of people are wanting. It's definitely not going to be a repeat of this year, or this past year.
Now, there is a chance that we could be surprised, and it could happen.
Yeah, I agree.
But it is not the expectation.
No, not at all.
And I don't think Bama fans are going to be calling for his head in his first season.
No, you give it. He needs at least 2, maybe 3 full years. But there's a lot of people, Alabama fans including, that were on like the Paul Feinbaum show and stuff saying, "Oh, he'll be fired in 3 years" and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, but can you really say that? Do you really know? What if this guy ends up being like a fantastic hire?
Yeah.
So then what do you do? Do you I guess you'd have to retract your statement at that point.
Right, for sure.
So I got the schedule up here on the screen if y'all can see it. So this is what I was wanting to go over with y'all. Western Kentucky and South Florida, we know that's going to be a win. Wisconsin, that's a road game. I don't know how good Wisconsin's going to be. I'm pretty sure Bama could beat them, even though it's a road game. But their first big test is going to be Georgia.
Oh, for every sure. Year. And that's going to be a toss up.
It is. It's a home game, which is a great thing for y'all. But it's that game's always a nail biter. Then of course you go to Vandy. That's going to be a win. It's going to be 90% Alabama fans there, even though it's a home game for Vandy. South Carolina, that can be a tricky game because I think South Carolina is going to be better this year.
Beamer ball.
Yeah, Beamer ball.
I'm still on that Beamer ball, dude.
And then the next week, y'all are on the road at Tennessee, who's going to be at least the same as they were last year, if not a little bit better. And then you turn around and play Missouri. So that's 3, what used to be the SEC East is not anymore. But 3, to me, 2 out of those 3 games are going to be toss-up games, and that's going to be Tennessee and Missouri.
Right.
And then you got a bye week, and then you're on the road to LSU. Mercer's a win. On the road to Oklahoma, and then Auburn. And those 3 out of the last 4 of those games are going to be toss-up games.
Yes. Well, not all 3 of them. 2 of the 3. Well, 3 of the last 4. I'm sorry. I think you said.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, so 3 of the last 4. LSU, Oklahoma, and Auburn could go either way.
Well, yeah, because LSU is in Death Valley and Oklahoma is in Norman. So, I mean, that could be a potential disaster.
Absolutely. So, guys, we got these phone lines open. We do want to hear from y'all to kind of get your opinion on it. We got a few people watching. I'm not sure how many people's watching on YouTube, but call us in and give us an idea of how you're feeling. Nick is commenting on here. He says Harsin followed Malzahn, DeBoer followed the GOAT. Not the same. No, I agree with that. Malzahn kind of quit recruiting his past couple of years there, but it's still ultimately the head coach's job to bring in the recruits to build that program. And Harsin simply didn't do that. Harsin left us in worse shape when he left than Malzahn did when he left. At least Malzahn was, in the top 10, 15 in recruiting every year. Now we're, 5th or 6th with Hugh Freeze's first full cycle?
Right.
That's going to be – I'm excited to see football this year, man. Not only because now we actually have a chance of beating Alabama, a real chance, but we got a really good squad coming in. And I won't be surprised if he names Walker White as his starting quarterback. Yeah, he said Peyton Thornton's going to be the starter next year, but that was before the bowl game.
Right. Since
that bowl game, he has retracted that statement and said, it's going to be a competition now. It's going to be up in the air. So, at this season, we're not talking about Auburn tonight, but I think Auburn season could have gone a lot better had they had a little bit better quarterback play. But that's something we'll talk about when we start getting to our preseason reviews for next year. But I want to get y'all's opinions on the Nick Saban situation and the hiring of Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. Like me and Steven said earlier, we were both a little shocked about it. But in the same sense, we kind of talked about it last night that if Dan Lanning turned the job down, which he did, that DeBoer would probably be the one to get the job.
Yes.
And that's why I asked you if anybody else had interviewed and they were just using all those interviews as smoke screens or if they were legit candidates.
See, that's my thing. I think they were smoke screens, honestly. And I think they really had DeBoer picked out as the guy that they wanted. That does sound pretty logical as to what they did, in my opinion. But, again, that's just my opinion. I'm pretty sure everybody else has other opinions. But
yeah, they do. And I think it was an Alabama fan actually who had commented on Facebook saying, for those of you who think that this is a quick hire, think again. They had been in talks for a couple months and they just made the final touches or put the final touches on
the negotiations. Today. Right.
I don't know if that's really the case because Nick Saban's interview yesterday, he said that he met with his players at 4:00. At 3:55, he was on the phone with Miss Terry, second guessing his decision. So it was one of those things to where he honestly didn't know what he was going to do till the last minute. But maybe they mentioned it to DeBoer and said, hey, if Saban calls it quits this year, are you interested in coming to Alabama?
Right.
But let me ask you this. If you're a head coach in college football and you get offered the job to take the place of Nick Saban, are you going to take it?
Would I want to? No. But would I do it because it'd be better money? Yeah, I'll get booed out in a couple of years and walk away with that
nice buyout.
Nice buyout, and I'll be on my own merry little way. That's just the wanting the money in it for me. But would I actually want the position because it would be, because of what I'm going into? No, I would not want that position because there's a lot of weight on your shoulders and it'll make or break you the rest of your career.
And that's what I was about to get at is, yeah, they had to find a coach. They had to find a good coach. But a lot of the good coaches are like, you know what? Nick Saban just retired. He's built a legacy there. I don't know if I want to step in and try to continue what he did and then come up short. And then ruin my career or be looked at looked down on as a bad coach or whatever. I think the better hire. Well, I don't even want to say the better hire. I think the next coach that comes in will have a better opportunity because he won't be replacing Nick Saban. He'll be replacing the guy who did replace Nick Saban.
Right. And that's 100% true.
Yep.
It won't be as hard on him because somebody else already messed it up.
I got you. So you're not nervous or anything about next year because of the hire?
No, I'm interested to see what's going to happen. That is where I'm at. I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I'm not going to get nervous about it at this moment in time because it is so early. Now, closer to season and after media days, hearing what he has to say there, let him go through fall camps and everything, and see what he has to say after that, and then we'll go from there. But at this moment in time, I'm not 100% nervous because I understand I understand what he's having to come into. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I understand that. Same. I mean, he deserves a shot, obviously. It's just one of those things. Is he gonna live up to y'all's expectations year one? Probably not. I mean, we've said that countless times tonight, but I think he'll do okay. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to take y'all to a national championship, although with 12 teams in the playoffs next year, it's going to be a lot easier than what would have been before.
Right. But then you have a lot more games you have to play.
So. I think there's going to – yeah, exactly. I think there's going to be a little bit of – my camera's jacking up again. Hang on a second. Why is it doing that tonight? All right, I'm going to have to switch to –
he's trying to fix that.
Just a stream.
Yeah,
no,
also
it was just a stream. Okay.
Feel free to call in. Let us know your thoughts. We really want to hear what y'all have to say about the subject. You know, I know y'all are here to watch us blabber.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear from. I'd love to hear from the Alabama fans. I really would, because I'm sure there's going to be some ticked off ones out there, and there's going to be some pretty excited ones out there. It's just a matter of which side of the fence are you on? Are you on the I'm for it, I'm against it, or I'm neither here nor there? You know, I don't know what your thoughts are. That's what we want to hear out tonight. The number to call is 334-721-4631. And Haley told me to slow down. 334-721-4631 is the number to call if you want to call and give us your opinion on this situation. While me and Steven kind of continue to ramble on about this breaking news out of Alabama that happened, I guess, around 4 o'clock. Well, it was a little bit earlier than 4 o'clock.
It was about 2:30.
2:30, yeah. So almost 48 hours
to the minute
of Nick Saban retiring. Yeah, to the hour, to the minute of Nick Saban retiring. They hired another coach. I do want to talk about Haley's reaction for a second because we were, like I said, I was eating lunch with them earlier, and when you called me, and I told Haley about it, she goes, "Are you freaking serious?" I said, "Yeah, why?" And she goes, "That's just stupid. He don't know anything about the SEC." I was like, "Yep, I agree. Neither did Brian Harsin," and we saw how that turned out. So, I don't know. I don't know if she's still excited or still upset about it. She might be. She may have kind of calmed down a little bit, but she's not one of those Alabama fans that's going to break the TV because they lost a game.
Right.
Yeah, she's upset for 5 minutes, and then she's back to doing her thing, which is most of the time painting or drawing something, which she's actually doing right now. I can't tell you what she's doing, though, because it may be a surprise for some people, but she's drawing. It's kind of cool. Very talented, actually. Speaking of talent, let's get into that. How would you rate this past season as far as Alabama's talent level on a scale from 1 to 5? Of course, 5 being the best, 1 being horrible. Where would you rate that talent level?
3.5.
3.5. I'm with you on that one. I think they could have been a lot better. They had some internal, not even internal. They had some offensive issues for sure.
Center.
Offensive, the center shouldn't have even started for a high school team. The offensive line couldn't block half the season. There are some miscues with the receivers, but that was mainly in part to Jalen Milroe having to scramble to protect himself because he was being rushed 90% of the time.
Right.
That being said, that's one reason why they hired DeBoer is because he's supposed to be this offensive guru and very offensive-minded coach. So that could have been one of the reasons why they hired him and moved on. But Dan Lanning is a pretty offensive-minded coach too. But I think it's kind of funny that the two biggest names we heard as far as replacing Nick Saban came out of the Pac-12.
Yes, but one of those names was underneath. He was underneath Kirby Smart, I do believe, in Georgia.
You talk about Dan Lanning?
Yeah.
Yeah. When he left Alabama, did he take a head coaching job at Oregon, or was he somewhere else before?
No, he he went with Kirby Smart, if I'm not mistaken.
To Georgia?
Yeah.
He may have. Let's pull up his Kalen DeBoer. No, I'm just kidding. Kalen DeBoer's stats. I want to read these off to y'all because Haley was asking me earlier if he's even any good. So let me pull up his resume and we can talk about that for a second. So he was the head coach of Washington for 2 seasons for 2022 and 2023. Before that, he was at Fresno State for 2 years. In 2020 was his first head coaching job in college football. He was an offensive coordinator in Indiana for a year, Fresno State for 2 years, Eastern Michigan for 3, Southern Illinois for about 3 or 4. And then he was a high school head coach. He started in 1997 at Sioux Falls as a wide receivers coach. Then he went to Washington High School as an assistant coach from 1988 to 89, an offensive coordinator from 2000 to 04 at Sioux Falls, and then head coach from 2005 to 2009 as a head coach. And then he got hired at Southern Illinois as an offensive coordinator. Then he went to Eastern Michigan as an offensive coordinator. Fresno State and Indiana were both offensive coordinator jobs. So he's only been a head coach since 2020 in college football. But he has an overall record of I just saw it. Where did it go? Sorry for the delay, guys. I just saw it and I lost my spot. That's on me. Let me go back to it. We pull up another page. I think his overall record was 119 and 18 or something like that. It's actually a pretty impressive record, for sure. Let's go here. Let's check out Wikipedia. I kept checking Wikipedia throughout the day to see if they would update anything to see if it was actually official, and they must have just recently done it. So overall head coaching record, he's 104-12. He's 2-1 in bowl games, 1-1 in the college football playoffs, and 17-2 in NAIA playoffs. So I'm assuming that's high school. So a pretty impressive resume, to be honest with you. And he's fairly young. He was born in 1974. So he's, late 40s?
Yeah.
Early 50s?
Late
so
40s.
He's a pretty young guy. Yeah, he's a pretty young guy.
Wow. I just looked this up. Let's see. Washington made a strong push to keep.
Wow.
So,
dang.
With that being said, there is no telling how much he just got from Alabama.
I'm fixing to look it up right now because I'm curious about that. If they were willing to double his salary for 8.4 and he still left, Alabama paid him a pretty penny. All right, his buyout and contract details are right here. Let's see. His buyout at Washington was, I think, $4.2 million. I think he only had 1 year left on his contract. No, I'm sorry, it was $12 million. Don't mess with that, buddy. It didn't say anything about his contract with Alabama there. It's about his contract with Washington. I'm trying to see if I can find anything about it. If y'all have heard what the contract is, please comment down below because I'm curious to see what it is as well. I haven't heard the details of it yet, and it may not be released to the public yet. So I don't know. $4.2 million a year. We just talked about that. Saban ranked first, among all the coaches last year with $11.4 million a year salary. So, okay, here you go. According to DeBoer's contract, he's 49?
Yeah.
I got you. This is on Yahoo Sports. It says, according to DeBoer's contract obtained by the USA Today network, the second-year Washington coach and replacement for Saban commands a $12 million buyout. So his buyout was $12 million.
Yeah.
To compare, Clemson coach Dabo Swinney's contract, which includes an Alabama-specific clause, would have only been $7.5 million if he had taken the Alabama job.
Oh.
So Alabama could have went with Dabo Swinney. Swinney paid less money to get him, but they went with DeBoer.
That's crazy.
It's interesting. But I don't see the details of his contract, so it may not be released yet. But I believe Jimmy Sexton is his agent.
Which would make sense considering
Yeah.
who else he is an agent for.
Half the coaches in college football. I'd love to have his job, man. I really would.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Especially with the big names that he has.
Yes. That's really all the questions I had for you about how you're feeling, man. What realistically in the next 3 years, if you had to guess right now, in 3 years, what is his win-loss record? And it don't have to be exact because, you got to add up the games and playoffs and factor that in. But let's say regular season, just regular season. What do you think his in 3 years his record is going to be?
Let's see. So out of 36 games, going with a 12, out of 36 games, maybe, let's see. I say he wins. I say he wins 16 or 17 of those 36.
So basically like a 500 win percentage?
Yeah.
Do you think that if that were to happen, do you think they let him go after 3 years?
Probably would. But that's just a bold prediction as of right now. It could be more in the 20s.
Yeah, it could be a lot better.
I don't want to expect a higher percentage per se for the simple fact we don't know what he's going to bring to the table.
Right, and we don't want to start speculating and then he end up being a lot better than what we think he's going to be, or we don't want to put a lot of high hopes in this guy and then him be a disappointment.
I would much rather be proven wrong with him getting better than what is said than me setting a high expectation and getting disappointed.
Yeah, I agree. Personally, man, I hope he goes 7-5 every year and they keep him around for 10 years like they did Gus Malzahn at Auburn. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Man, I appreciate you coming on tonight. It was a lot earlier than it was last night. We were supposed to start at 9:30, but for some reason the stream kept stopping. So that's why we didn't start right at 9:30. I apologize about that. But we're getting better at our times. When we go live for the Royal Rumble in a couple of weeks, that's going to be, I think the show starts at 7 Central Time. So we'll go on at 6:30. We're going to live stream that show and kind of talk about it and talk about the matches and in between matches, kind of talk about what happened in that match and how we liked it and how we didn't like it. And if any more breaking news in college football comes out, like Kirby Smart leaving to go to the Falcons, we'll do another show. But I'm not.
He's so persistent on him going to the Falcons,
dude. I just don't want
to with that.
Because I hate Georgia.
But why just the Falcons? There's 1, 2, 3.
Well, that's just
there's
the rumors.
There is 4 teams that I know of right now looking for a head coach in the NFL.
No, I agree. I don't think he's going to take any of them, to be honest with you. But that's just the biggest rumor I'm hearing is that he's talked to the Falcons and he's negotiating a salary. Probably more than likely to get more money out of Georgia, but if anything else happens with college football, we'll definitely talk about it. I know Zach Etheridge left Auburn today. Cardinal Williams left yesterday. And from what I've been reading, that was not Hugh Freeze's decision. It was the athletic director's decision. So it's pretty much like a mutual separation type thing. And a lot of Auburn fans are not happy about that. Not just because they're Auburn alums, but because they did extremely well with recruiting.
Right.
That's one reason why we have a top 5 class right now.
Now, let me ask you this. I know you're wanting to kind of keep the college stuff unless breaking news like what has happened in the past couple of days, 48 hours
has
happened. Would you want to do like one for draft day, considering it's college players that are leaving college going to the next level and kind of do that during the draft? Potentially.
I'm not opposed to that at all. If I'm here, I know I've got some school dates coming up with the Army, and I'm not sure if I'll be here then, but if I am, we can definitely do that.
I got you. That'll be more towards the end of April.
Yeah, so I should be here. Yeah, we're wanting to not just talk about college football. We're wanting to talk more about all sports. And, I mean, Steven and I are the same. We love college football and we love pro wrestling. So that's 2 things that we really want to start touching on more. I'd love to do like a weekly pro hockey. I'm not a big hockey guy. I know you and Will love hockey.
Yeah.
And
our teams actually played each other tonight.
Oh, the Dallas Stars?
Yeah. The Stars and the Preds.
Who won?
Preds 6-3.
There you go.
In Dallas. Dallas.
Ooh, in Dallas. Will, if you're watching this, man, I hope it stings.
I hope it does too. Oh, I hope it does. I'm gonna talk to him about it tomorrow for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you're gonna eat that up.
Hey, look, they came to our barn and beat us, so it was only fair that we went back to theirs and beat them.
That's right. So, guys, if you notice down the bottom of the screen, we have our YouTube, our Twitch, which isn't up and running yet, or we're not streaming to it yet. It's up, but it's just not streaming. We're not streaming to it. Facebook and then our X handles. Make sure you follow us on those because we do post what our shows are going to be, and we'll post any kind of news that may have come out that we can't do a show on. We'll post the news there. So make sure y'all follow those. And like I said, we're definitely going to be doing a Royal Rumble live stream, which I can't wait for. That's going to be super exciting this year. If anything else happens in college football, like another coach gets fired, or maybe if Washington hires a knockout or home run hire, we can cover that. So just kind of keep your schedule open if you can. I know you and me both work, so it's hard to do that. But we'll definitely keep y'all posted. Anything else? Y'all just make sure you comment down below. Share this video, please, to everybody. I know we're not professionals, but we do this for fun. We love doing this, but we do love talking about it. So the more people we have watch us, the better off we are and the better we get, especially if we could do these shows more frequently. So
right. The frequency is the biggest thing, honestly.
Yes.
You know, getting like at least even if you just do it like once a week or whatever, just to have that consistency of, you know, getting us getting better as the setup, all that, and we do appreciate everything that the people commenting, giving us their input when they can, where they can. We also always appreciate that, and don't feel shy to critique us, to help us get better. Tell us
Yeah.
some things that y'all want. Feel free to do that. That way, we can have those parts put into it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We love the feedback, and whether it's positive or negative, we take that into consideration. Trust us. We really appreciate the comments. We really appreciate the feedback. So make
It's
sure you
never
like.
negative. It's never negative. It's always constructive criticism.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, thank y'all for joining us tonight. Thank you for commenting down below, Nick. We enjoyed it. I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow to see if you need a blood pressure monitor, because I know your blood pressure has been back and forth the past couple of days. So I may have to bring it when we come over there tomorrow. But
of all the Bama fans that I've seen, he has seemed to have been the one to take it the hardest.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, Debbie asked me yesterday, she goes, "Is Nick okay?" I was like, he just retired. She goes, "No, my son, Nick." I said, "Oh, I don't know." She goes, "He is not taking this well." I was like, "No, a lot of people aren't." But just because you're accustomed to it. And then
Right.
if you're like me, I don't like
17 years of the same thing, and then this happens. Of course, you're going to be like,
Oh, no, I agree, man. It's hard to believe that for nearly 2 decades, he's been the face of Alabama football, and now he's not.
Right.
So I don't know, man. It's still one of those hard pills to swallow. But, people will adapt. They'll get used to it. And one day down the road, he's not going to be forgotten, but they'll forgive easier than they would what they will next year.
Nick brings up a good point. A new head of the table. Back to our wrestling talk.
Yes, I think we're going to have a new head of the table come WrestleMania. I think The Rock's going to beat Roman Reigns, but I think it's not going to be for the title. I think Randy Orton's taking it off of him in 3 weeks or 2 weeks, whenever the Rumble is.
But we'll talk more about that in 2 weeks.
Absolutely, yeah. We don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I'm looking forward to that show, Steven. I know you are, because I know you love pro wrestling, man. And I might even get the wife on here if I can convince her to get on camera and talk about it. But man, I'm excited, guys. I hope y'all are excited about it too. Anything y'all want us to cover, please feel free to comment. Let us know. We don't have emails set up. We do, but we don't have them posted. So just send us Facebook messages or Twitter, and we will respond to them, I promise.
Nick, just know this. From a Bama fan to another Bama fan, it's okay to not be okay.
Haley, your brother just said he's not okay. We may need to take him a blood pressure monitor for real over there tomorrow.
Nope, I'm making special brownies.
Oh, she's bringing some special brownies, Nick. You'll be all right.
Sharing is caring.
That's right. Well, if there's any left, man, feel free to come get some. I can't eat them right now. I'm on a diet. So, all right. Well, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Again, we've had fun tonight, laughing and cutting up and talking about the future of Alabama. And a couple of weeks, we'll be talking about the future of the WWE. And then we'll probably do a spring practice or a spring game video for Auburn and Alabama, kind of break down those games. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. Media days coming up in July. So we got and maybe even recruit. Well, I won't be here for National Signing Day. I'll be in school. So, but you can do one if you want to. And unfortunately, I won't be here. But we got a lot of things on the schedule coming up that we got planned. So we're excited about that, guys. So make sure y'all stay in touch with us, and make sure that you follow all of our channels,
all of our platforms and everything.
Absolutely.
Much love and appreciation to everybody who tuned in tonight. Y'all are the number one to us, and y'all will always be the number one to us. We love and appreciate you. And with that being said, roll Tide.
And War Eagle.